Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder, to the first impressions on the IJN Amagi, and what an impression it is. Hands down, this is right now the most powerful warship in War Thunder, and therefore it rightfully so sits at rank 6, battle rating 7.0 in the Japanese tech tree, coming off the IJN Ise. And before I talk about the ship, I want to bring home one message. This ship is absolutely unnecessary. First of all, the Japanese already have the IJN Mutsu, which it shares kind of the guns with. Then this is now the 7th Japanese ship with a battle rating of 7.0. It is the 6th ship at rank 6 alone, and the Japanese so far have no rank 6 event ship. And I have to say, when I look at the IJN Fuzu, the Hyuga, the Kongo, the Ise, the Mutsu, the Haruna, and also the Yamashiro, that is one hell of a lineup of 14 and 16.1 inch guns. This is really powerful, but it gets really absurd when I talk about the stats. And just remember that even within the Japanese tech tree, this ship is the same class and in the same tech tree and at the same rank as the IJN Kongo, which has 8 14-inch guns with 30-second reload. Here, the IJN Amagi, the outstanding faction, or the factor that really makes it absurd, are 10 410mm guns with a 24-second reload. Let me just bring home this one message to make the American 14-inch battleship players cry even harder. If your barbette is damaged, and you repair that damage, and yet you fire the gun, your reload is still less than 35 seconds with 2 penalty mechanics, which makes it 5 seconds less than a fully aced crew and fully, pimped up American 14-inch gun-armed warship. So this just has really good DPM, it is fun to play, you can repair and still bring in, some work done when you just play the ship. It is fantastic. But let's get into this. And I wanna stress here the biggest flaw of this ship, and that is that in the harbor there is a float plane modeled on the third or the middle turret, and that is not available in game, which is a shame and lets you lose unnecessarily some battles. But you have other ships, patrol boats, whatever. So let's start with the shell's performance, and you have actually 3 different shells, but 2 shell types. Your stock shell is the 410mm common type 0, and that has only 46 kilograms of TNT equivalent burst charge with 71 millimeters of penetration, which is slightly disappointing if you think about that the British brought in 88 kilograms on the 13.5 inch HE shell. You also have no SAP round, and that really lets you struggle a little bit versus well-protected cruisers, where then you have to use your AP. But don't worry, because even your rank 1 upgrade, the 410mm number 3 APC, which is in actuality an AP-CBC round, which I mentioned might be quite the factor, while it does perform better than the HMS Barham with its actual APC round, has 760 meters per second mass velocity, 12.6 kilograms of TNT bursting charge. That's not a lot. Barham has in its 15-inch shell 30 kilograms, the Bayern has 25 kilograms, and so you are on American level of TNT charge. But that gives you really high penetration, 730 millimeter at 1000 meters, and at 10 kilometers 508. But as a tier 4 upgrade, you get the 410mm number 5 APC, which is also an APCPC round, with increased muzzle velocity to 790 meters per second, same bursting charge. And then also, which I think is now worth mentioning, quite the average fuse delay of 0.05 seconds and a fuse sensitivity of 26 millimeters, increasing the penetration altogether to 776 millimeter and at 1000 meters, and at 10 kilometers 555 millimeters, and that is the joint highest penetration in the game for a battleship shell. And that just slices through all the thick armor. I love to crack open those juicy US standards, you know, quite cracky on the outside, chewy on the inside, delicious RP. And this is where I then have to talk about the performance versus ships with a turtleback, because you struggle to really bring in the damage. Either I was exceptionally unlucky, or this shell just doesn't like even thin turtlebacks, like Bayerns, and you know, all the German battleships essentially. But then you do relatively decent versus Scharnhorsts. It's a real mystery to me. But overall, this is quite the banger of a shell. The secondaries, which you have quite a lot of, 16 140mm -50 third-year type cannons. You have of those 5.5 inch or 140 millimeters. Yeah, you have only SAP, no HE, no AP, only SAP with 2.21 kilograms and at best 115 millimeters of penetration. You heard destroyers and some light cruisers, but versus everything else, it's quite the pea shooter, but they are quite numerous. And then we have also a lot, and I mean a lot, of very powerful 610mm Type 8 number 2 wet heater torpedoes in deck mounted fixed tubes, and you have 24 torpedoes overall, and they're actually quite decent. 70 kilometers per hour maximum speed and travel distance of 10 kilometers exactly, with the TNT equivalent warhead of 380 kilograms. That is the same ballpark as a German G7A. Yes, it's not a long lance, but you get the idea. They are the biggest and so far most powerful torpedoes on any battleship or battlecruiser, if I'm not mistaken. I never happened to use them, but you have actually quite the broadside. Talking about the broadside, let's talk about the armor. You have an almost all or nothing armor scheme, although it extends quite almost to the rudder. The belt is 10 inches or 254 millimeters thick. That's not that thick. It's relatively tall as well. The bulkhead fore and aft are 9 inches or 228.6 millimeters. The upper deck, which gives it the citadel protection, is 95 millimeters. That's actually really good. And then we have a sweet turtleback behind the main belt of a whopping 70 millimeters at a constructional armor slope of 34 degrees. And in the middle of the ship, there are also extensive coal bunkers, which further increase protection. And you know, the turtleback also dips down quite into the water, so that makes this actually well protected. What's not so well protected are the barbettes. So we have here 11 inches or 280 millimeters on the side. On the front it is 228 or 9 inches, and at the very front it is 8 inches, 203 millimeter. That's the barbette. And then we come to the faceplate of those beautiful, aggressive looking twin turrets. We have 12 inches of armor at a constructional armor slope of 45 degrees. Again, you lose your barbettes on a regular basis, like most battleships do, or actually all of them. But your reload of 24 seconds for 16.1 inch guns, again, it is absurd. Will help you through it. You can endure it. So the protection overall is quite decent. Sometimes it's ridiculous what you can survive, especially when angled. The firing angles are nice as well. So the only thing that this ship really is missing is AA, because you only have 4 120mm guns, although I shot down one plane. So there's nothing wrong with the ship in terms of overall performance, but the guns make it absolutely ridiculous. And I love to play it, especially after the bad experience in the USS Tennessee, the mid experience in the Ismail, although I have to give that another ago than the HMS Barham, which was the last video. And I promise you, the next video will be the glorious SMS Derflinger. God, I love that ship. You know, the problem here with the IJN Amagi is that it is clearly overpowered. Yes, it's fun, but it's so unfair for a number of reasons. So first of all, we have already, as I probably mentioned, so many Japanese battleships and battle cruisers at 7.0. The comparison to the IJN Congo in the same tech tree, at the same rank, with the same battle rating, with 8 14-inch guns with 30 seconds reload and less penetration, less armor. You know, it's just not a good comparison. It's stupid. It's hilarious. You know, absolutely unnecessary, especially since the IJN Amagi, you know, here is a project. It never existed, unlike the Mutsu, you know, which is in its 1922 configuration. I don't know how Gaijin could look at Italy and France and think to themselves, yeah, let's add the Amagi right now. That's what the game needs, another firepower escalation. Oh man, I don't know. I really don't know. And I could probably go on for hours. And just a few things at the end of the video. Those are first impressions videos. Those are not with my charts, you know, where I do the comparison in actual DPM, in comparison of penetration millimeters, bursting charges, and so forth. They cost a lot of time to make. I make them on purely on my own, and at the moment I don't have that much time. Maybe it gets better soon, then I make proper reviews again, and until then, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section what you think, and as usual, please give this video a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the waves, in the skies, and on the battlefields of War Thunder.